All right, so this is the setup I have. All right, this is the setup I have. I figured if this helps anybody, great. I'm just do it yourself or learn as I go. Main thing I wanted to show you was these speed binders. These things are pretty cool, save you a lot of time. In a 9/16 impact with an impact, and they come off real easy. So what I'm starting out here is a development project. We're got 12 acres, and we're going to be building 2 retail strip centers and then a storage unit facility. And today we're just taking the tractor, the brush hog, and going to clear and mow a little bit for the surveyor to come out and survey all the driveways, the property perimeter, where the buildings are going to be going, and then that way we can get everything lined up and ready to go. This is a Rhino TS12 brush hog, and I've got a 20-footer. Unfortunately, it is out of commission at the moment. I'll also tell you what's cool is these wireless trailer lights. You just plug in a receiver to the back of your truck connection where your electrical goes for your normal trailer hookup, and it wirelessly shoots your left, right, 4-ways, flash, or anything on back to here. So that way, like in my case with this trailer, it's broken. My lights are stuck up with the spring-loaded trailer lights, so I have to use wireless. Another thing I really like is this shock strap. These straps hold the tension a lot better than your normal ones. So these are just some of the things that I use to make my life easier. Also, everybody does their connection points different. However, that's how I like to have mine. I go down through, come back up, and hook my chain on just like that. I'll also say these trailers are great with your hydraulic dovetails until your batteries go out or you got a hydraulic leak. That's kind of a pain. Running a John Deere 5090E, which has plenty of power obviously for a 12-foot brush hog. Let's see if this thing wants to go down. Oh, good. So you can see down there the trailer dovetail is going to come down automatically. Which is super nice when you're in Texas and it's 100,000 degrees and you're dying of sweat. That saves you some power, some strength for later. This is a Max D 40-foot gooseneck, two 15,000-pound axles, so 30,000 total. Let's go ahead and start up the tractor. Let that warm up for a sec. What we need to do is also throw another pin in this brush hog to secure it more properly. It's got one pin, as you can see right here, but really need to put this bolt and nut here and throw a pin down through here. That way you have double security and you know this thing ain't gonna come off, which you don't want because you rip your hydraulic lines right out. Oh yeah, also something we did here to keep our lines from hitting our PTO shaft or dragging. We simply just did a little crappy weld bar with the little hook here to run it so it stays nice and suspended. So we got a lot of tension there. I'm gonna have to back up and move around to get this tension off that pin so I can use this one. All right. One of my guys shattered our glass, so this little rubber seal wasn't on all the best way. Probably have to have them work on that. Yeah, that's not fitting real well. I don't like that at all. So another thing I like to have always is fire extinguishers. I always have fire extinguishers running in all my equipment because of obvious reasons. Something blows up, catches fire. It's a lot cheaper to use a $30, $40, $50 extinguisher. I don't know how much they cost, but rather than your whole unit going down in flames. All right, we're gonna throw this in one, and we got the slowest gear. Let me take this off. We'll throw this in first, and then A, which is your slowest. That way you're coming off nice and easy. And this is a hydrostatic transmission, so all you gotta do is throw it in reverse, and we should start coming off. Make sure our brush hog's all the way up. And we're going backwards. So really, I'm just, like I said, do-it-yourselfer. I'm not an expert. If the video's boring, no problem. Go to your next one. This is really just for guys that want, maybe new, want to learn stuff. if we got some slack off of this. Let's get on more level ground, actually, I lied. And then we'll get the slack off this pin. Throw in the nut and the bolt. All right, good. Grab our nut and bolt. We'll make sure we get the right socket. Nope. Nope. And yep, that fits. Okay, let's grab crescent wrench should work. Just enough to hold the top while we impact this bolt nut on there. Okay. Get this on, like I said, just enough to hold it. One more. Okay, and then this pin is too big for this hole, plus we got to straighten out should have a skinnier one in here, which I do. Need a smaller Carter pin, which I have on my travel or transport pins. I have some Carter pins that are smaller that will fit this. I'll just rob Peter to pay Paul for the moment. Pull this pin. If I can. That's get my gloves off. There we go. So this will work for this. That's what we'll use. Pull our transport pin. There you go. Obviously what this does is keeps your wings, if your hydraulics fail, not the hole, so you can see the hydraulics and the PTO shaft are holding it, but for some reason they fail, you're going down the highway, these things fall down. That's not good. You can hit somebody else and be in big trouble. Okay. All right, there's the other one. What I like to do is always put my stuff back where it should go exactly, so that way I don't lose it. All right. Just like right now, put my tools back where they go. These can go right here for now. Keep them there. Strap there. Socket, crescent, wrench back in the tool bag. Let's go ahead and throw this back up. And what you have to do on these hydraulic dovetails, at least this model, this dovetail has to breach its level, come all the way over it, and then come back down to catch the pin for safety so it doesn't fall during transport. See, it's above level, going right there now. And then it just clicked, and it'll grind the motor. Hear that? The motor whined or started going a little harder. That means it's at level position, locked in, and safe. All right. We'll be back when we jump in the tractor and start going. Lock that up. All right, let's throw. Now, you've got 3 different A, B, and C's, basically 12 gears, because you got 1 through 4 times 3, so 4 times 3 is 12, basically speed adjustments. A is for your really slow work, so we're going to throw it into B, go down to 2, and then, oh yeah, got to put it in gear, that's helpful. Let's start going forward. On your tractor, you've got your four-wheel drive here, which we don't need right now. This is your constant speed, rabbit to turtle. So if you just don't want to have to hit your accelerator all the time, like so, with your foot, you just set this to wherever you want it, and it keeps your RPMs at a constant. You got your hydraulic controls here. This is your 3-point attachment that goes, makes your 3-point go up and down. And then here's your PTO, engaged or not engaged. So this will pull this up and it'll start throwing the motors or the gears to start turning the blades. So I like the RPM or come down a little bit throw this up. Well, first of all, let's put these down. Okay. And then lower it. And then we pull this up. And there you go. It's mowing. Now this has already been mowed by the county, but we're gonna hang a left into here, mow. And actually I'm gonna kill it right now because we're going over some barbed wire from the old fence, and I don't want to get that tangled up in my blades. One thing I would say too is make sure you walk a property. I know it's high grass, or you do some really good detailed research on the land, because you don't want to fall into a creek. I did that here, and I get myself in all sorts of trouble. You'll see. You start watching the video. If I start keeping up with videos and doing them, which, to be honest, I'm not a YouTuber, so it's kind of a pain. But I get myself stuck. I got 70, 80,000 pound excavators stuck in lakes, and I get stuck a lot. So that's always fun. That'll be a good episode to watch if I ever keep doing it. I'll try and record it next time. And you should be running, most of your tractors, brush hogs, will be running about 540 PTO. So I'm at 500 right now. And if you're moving too fast, you just gear down, and that way you don't have to worry about moving too fast on a property you don't know about. See, it's cutting. And I just turned right there because there's, I don't know if you can see way over there, there's water, and there's a creek that runs right through here, and that's where I got stuck last time. So try not to do that again. So what I did is, this is 10 acres, but that house over there was 2 acres, so I just bought that. We're going to demolish the house, and like I said, we will be building 2 retail strip centers right off this highway frontage, and then storage all along the back side of the property. I'm going to rip off that roof and use it at my ranch, because that's good steel, metal, R-panel for my other projects at the ranch. And you want to watch out. Your brush hogs really aren't meant to cut down, especially these honeysuckles. They're too thick. It's just meant for heavy brush, heavy grass like this. You can break a brush hog real quick. That's what happened on my 20-foot. I ran over a huge rock that I didn't see, and it just sheared off the gear, or excuse me, the pin shaft that goes into the brush hog, and that was a $1,000 mistake. So you're running about 530 to 540 in the PTO RPM or PTO rotationals, and that's where you want to be. Any higher than that, you can do damage to your brush hog, and any slower, you know, it's going to have a hard time really cutting through the brush. So that's kind of the sweet spot. I personally love mowing. It's real therapeutic, as corny as that sounds. fun to get on a mower and mow. See too where we just came from, so we'll go catch this line over here and kind of come back around left, try not to get stuck in that creek. Alright, so we're on the property where the house is now, and I am going to remove some of this fence so that I can just take the tractor through this side of the property, which is much easier to access than all the way over there, where you can see my truck all the way, maybe. So, I'm going to get out, cut some wire, and go through. Might be a good place to start. Looks like somebody did it already once before. There we go. Whoop, wrong way. There we go. No longer need a fence since we own both sides now, or both properties. One more, we got grass or what? Oh, they're clear. All right, let's go this way. And we'll just hook it right back on itself here. That way, it won't fly back on us. If I can move this T-post around enough, maybe get it out of the ground. If not, could always lay it down and just run over it, obviously with the brush hog not running. piece that's holding it. Let's go ahead and cut this. Or just, oh, here we go. I got one, I just couldn't get through both. There we go. Nope. Well, like I said, I just step on it, bend it down. Give us a little extra room. We can always lift the bat wing if we need to. But I think we should be able to run it right over without damaging anything. All right, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and lift the bat wing because I'd rather not take a chance. Here's your hydraulic control. Nice and slow. Whoops. Pull it up. And proceed. All right. Back down with the hydraulic or the wings. Engage the PTO. Oh, there's a big piece of rubber tire. That's something you want to avoid too from running over. All right, let's keep doing the perimeter here. I got guys coming to mow tomorrow, but really all I want to do is run the perimeter of the danger zones or where I know the creeks are or the drop-offs, because I don't want them getting my tractor stuck or broken or the brush hog stuck or broken. Got little field mice, rabbits jumping around. Okay, we're getting close to this edge, so what we want to do is go back down to first gear and take it nice and slow, just in case any washouts happen that were here or not here last time and then they happened. That's a good 6 to 9 foot drop over there, and that would not feel good. And this is where a 20-foot mower would come in handy, because you can reach a lot more over to one side than 12-foot, which in turn makes you not have to drive as close to this edge. And it's always better to err on the side of caution and make a second pass. Alright, so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, is walking the property. Got to a point where I'm not familiar with this little section, so got out, just start walking it. Seeing if you can come back here with the tractor, which it looks like we can so far. I remember being sorted back here a couple years ago, but I'm not going to rely on that memory. Okay, here's the creek bed. Okay. Culvert over there, tin horn. So, I wonder if we could run this top dam or ridge the whole way. I'm gonna try to go slow. Looks like we can. All right, well, that's good. I'll show you what I found up here right before I turn back on the camera. This is why it's a little bit better too to cut in the winter so you can see through the brush better. Good old tractor rake. Oh wow, it's even got some kind of serial number or something, or a part number.